I really feel like for us, like we haven't. I really truly because I've seen people start when we started before us, and then they're not in it. But like people give up, and I don't know. And like people like you ever see people like they're always starting over, like I'm starting it over again. Like we never did that. Like when we started the Shopify store, I've never cut it off. Once we learned about paid ads, I never cut those off. They've never been off since we've started them. Yeah, like yeah, so to answer your question about like what advice I guess what I would have for people today is like if I don't want to get all into like have a paid ads budget. I mean that's going to be super super crucial.
This is Tech Me As I Am, a video series and podcast where self-love is shaking up the status quo of corporate America. We're diving into authentic stories that are creating space for you to feel seen, be vulnerable, and succeed working in the everyday. So let's be real, let's be different, and let's get courageous, y'all.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Quinton Lewis. I am the co-founder of Urban Eden. Urban Eden is an all-natural soap and body care company, and I'm here today to talk about entrepreneurship and mental health.
All right, so let's jump in. Quinton.
Yes.
I'm so happy to have you here. One of the biggest things I wanted to do by having you on the show today was, one, talk about your business, but you as a founder. You know, there's something very special about people who run businesses and have them become successful. So I want you to talk to our audience about your story. I want us to dig deep. I want us to be able to heal out loud.
Okay.
So for starters, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your story? How did you start Urban Eden?
Okay, cool. So I'm Quinton Lewis. I was born in Newport News, Virginia. You know, moved down to Georgia probably when I was like 13 or whatnot. Went to school at Georgia State. That's where I met my wife, actually. I told you a little bit before here, I went to interning at an urban farm, and my wife was looking for like a craft to do because I was learning how to grow food. We was out in the farm, just kind of like living that lifestyle or whatnot. She was looking for something to do, and she came across soap making in a craft book. And when she came across that, she learned how to make it in the kitchen. She showed it to me, and I was just like, you need to start a business. Because I was already kind of business minded. I'm very business minded, which is kind of like my role now, even in the business. She's the creative. I'm like the operations, boring stuff type of guy, whatever. She started Urban Eden. We in our 1-bedroom apartment in Atlanta off of Northside Drive. This was back in like 2015. And yeah, she started, was selling to family and friends and people at like the congregation we were going to, and started a Shopify site in October of 2015. Yeah, that's how long we've had the Shopify store open since October 2015. I'll never forget.
2015.
Yes, we've been on Shopify for like, what is that, 10 years now?
Also a loyal customer, Shopify.
Yeah, a loyal customer, right? Should have bought the stock right around the same time, man.
Dang. Okay, so your wife, she was like, hey, I say this soap business, you know, I want to do, well, you pushed her to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you were the brains of operations. How did it start with getting into plants? I know you said that you were doing stuff in school. When we were previously talking, you were, you know, farming, you were doing like landscape, stuff like that. What made you guys want to go and do soap as a thing? Like, did it start off that way?
So when I graduated high school, I started working with a contractor. His name was Benaya. So he was really into like, it was something called biodynamics. It's like a way of gardening with the moon phases and things like that. So I was getting really into that and like the science of the soil. So he didn't want to introduce me to that. So that's why I got into like growing food and gardening and whatnot. And my wife she was coming along with me once. We weren't married at the time, but when we were in college interning, we were doing that. So how do we get to soap? She was looking for something like a need. We were when we were at the urban farm, we would go to the farmers markets and we would set up and sell the plants that we were growing. So she was just like, man, I want to get into this whole culture of the farmer's market. I want to have a product and sell something. So that's what made her go into the craft book and she found that.
Okay.
She started like doing some jewelry making before, and then she came across the soap making. And then like I told you, once I saw that she made it in the kitchen, she made it from scratch. I was like, yo, we got to start us a site and we got to kind of do that. So really, we were looking for a need. We were looking for something that people were going to need, so that when times got rough or anything like that, when the consumer is not spending this much money, we're like, people always need soap. So that's kind of how we kind of stuck with soap.
And then it's plant-based, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's like a blend of like you guys coming together too, like in this partnership. It's like you came from like this, planting, the, agriculture kind of thing. And then she's coming with the, like you said, creativity and stuff like that.
Right.
So when we talk about like starting a business, right? It takes a lot of intentionality. One thing that I've found is it takes a lot of consistency. Were there times that you felt like giving up? Were there times that you felt like is this gonna work? Like what's the real tea? Like
Yeah.
where were you in those moments? Because you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, and I know you said this is about vulnerabilities. When we started the business in 2015, we weren't full time just yet. Actually, Taryn went full time in 2016. I came on like around that time as well. But there was plenty of times we were just like, I remember my wife came to me, she was just like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? Like, because I could tell you like some of the revenues, like the first year of business, we did like 15,000. That was mainly just like farmers markets. That was 2016. The next year we did 68,000. That was 2017. I remember right in that 2017 to 2018, the next year we did like 108,000 after that. But like, she was just kind of like, well, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
And I was just like, just hold steady. I just had to tell her, like, just hold steady. But yeah, we wanted to quit sometimes. Like there were times it was tough. Like should have had a job. Like we were going full time. Like we should have had jobs. At the time we were what is that? 2016. We were 25, 26 years old. We could thug it a little bit. I remember the days where hot water was getting cut off and we needed money for the Shopify bill because it was about to cut off. So we went door to door trying to sell soap and things like that. So there were times where it was tough, but I ain't gonna lie, like I miss those days. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it was so simple. You relied on your creativity, but again, we just never gave up. I think that's like a big thing. Is like we just never gave up. We just kept pushing like day after day after day.
What did you miss? You said, you wish you would be able to go back. What do you miss about like it being simple though?
What do I miss? I mean, those days were it was just, how do I put it? Like, now I have like we have employees now. So like, it's a lot more pressure on you. I have investors. It's that pressure on you. It wasn't really any pressure. It's almost like an athlete when he's first playing, maybe when he's younger, was in high school. He's just pure, like he's just freely playing.
Right.
But once money gets involved and other family members and just other responsibilities get involved, it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get to the pros, it's a little different. But when you are just a young teenager, just getting it, it's just free flowing,
Yeah, I kind of get your vibe. Like it's like the creativity, the fun about it. You don't have to think about anybody else, but being able to just do the thing that you came here to do and enjoy it and just kind of like see it grow. And you've seen it grow. Like it's getting so much traction. A lot of people are seeing like the benefits of being able to utilize your product. The grind is hard. Do you feel like where you're at now, the grind is harder, or do you feel like the grind was easier when you were first starting out?
I think it's harder now.
Really?
To me, because it gets harder the higher you go, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not doing like the same stuff that I was doing early on. Like, of course, early on we were making the products, we were fulfilling the products. I don't like fulfill products. I don't make products. But it's just that it's the mental fortitude of it's the whole mental aspect of it. I mean, again, having the investors, having people that you want to give a return to. They gave us money. Well, not gave us money. They invested in us as individual founders, and I feel like I have an obligation to give them a return. So that's pressure. Again, just I'm kind of over like having employees, kind of like, and to the point where like their livelihood is dependent on me. I'm not necessarily like worried about that like when we first was, but I mean, that was a pressure as well that I had to kind of overcome of like, man, like I got to make payroll. So I will say like we've never missed a payroll or anything like that. So, but yeah, I think that's why it's harder now, I would say.
Would you say like when you have a business, I mean, life happens, right? We still have to maintain this sense of I'm running the ship, but I'm still dealing with stuff that I've been dealing with, like on the personal side. How do you manage life and running a business like Urban Eden?
Man, I mean, honestly, being married is helpful because my wife allows me to, be very like deep in the business. Like if I need to get work done, she'll take, my daughter's name is Eden. She'll take Eden, hey, get your work done. Like she allows me to really be in it because she knows that one of us has to be in it like super knee deep. Having a partner that's very understanding because she's a part of the business as well. So I think that's helpful as well. And then taking breaks is key. Just going away, maybe taking a trip or whatnot. But it's like you still aren't fully unplugged from it though. You know what I'm saying? Like you're always thinking about it, I don't like, I'm not, what's funny is like, I used to always like every day just check sales. I'm not saying I don't check my sales every day, but like, I remember like that Shopify sound. I don't know if anybody's know about that Shopify sound, like that ching, like when a sale comes through, like I remember when cut that off. Like I cut it off my notifications at some point. I think it was around 2020. I cut it off and it was just like, I don't need that to be on anymore. Like, so, just having your time away, just having your time.
Okay.
Sports. I'm a sports fanatic. Like I love watching sports. I'm a big football fan. All sports. So watching sports is a way for me to escape from the business.
Yeah, yeah. And you use the word escape. I feel like when we're thinking about our mental health, like I'm very big on that. And running businesses, or if you're still in corporate, you're still working a 9 to 5. A lot of us tend to have like a side hustle. We're always doing something to exit the matrix. We're always trying to figure out a way to get out. You didn't necessarily have to go, do that. That your course was different, but there's still those coping mechanisms that we have to like take the weight off, take the pressure, if you will. And so like you're telling me, sports is something that helps you. I'm having a partner. What I'm hearing is somebody that you can rely on, somebody that's going to always be able to be there. And then being able to disconnect. When you're disconnecting, do you have anything that you do to help you like disconnect fully? I mean, I know you said it's kind of hard to, because I understand that.
Honestly, working out, that's a good one. Like working out, like just being committed to that. Like I was saying before we started, like me paying a trainer, like those 3 days a week that I work out with her, like that's me taking care of myself. Because there are times in the business where like I've like abandoned myself, like weight going up, or you just not in the space where you you need to be. So working out has been great. What else is good? I mean, just maybe being around family, just going to, how like as you get older, you don't spend as much time with your parents as much, or you don't see them as much. Like just going to their house and just having dinner, like just the simple things. Like it's nothing that's really crazy that we do, but just really, like I said, spending time with family, working out, those things to me are like the things that, pull me away from the business.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think something you said, and being able to detach is loving yourself enough to care about your physical well-being.
Oh yeah.
Your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, like all these things all flow together to be able to allow you to have the space to continue operating a business in that way. If there's something that you could tell somebody that wanted to start a business, that they wanted to be able to go to a place like, reach the heights and things like that you've reached.
Yeah.
What would you say is a tangible takeaway that they could go do like right now?
Yeah.
To help them get to, where you're at.
And they were just, and they were starting today?
Let's say for starting, and then another one for somebody who's already in it.
Man, that's a tough one, because I don't want to sound super cliche, because everybody, just don't give up,
Right. I hate those so bad.
Right.
With passion.
Like, but what's crazy is just like, what have we done? Like, I really feel like for us, like, we haven't, I really truly, because I've seen people start when we started before us, and then they're not in it, but like people give up. And I don't know. And like people, like, you ever see people like they're always starting over? Like I'm starting over again. Like we never did that. Like when we started the Shopify store, I've never cut it off. Once we learned about paid ads, I never cut those off. They've never been off since we've started them. So to answer your question about like what advice, I guess what I would have for people today is like, if I don't want to get all into like have a paid ads budget. I mean, that's going to be super, super crucial. I'm really stumped on that one, honestly. paid ads budget.
Paid.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
because most people are trying to rely on organic stuff,
Yeah.
and that's just today's time. It's just not, to me, in my opinion, it's just not. It's not 2016 anymore. Like you can't just. I guess you can. It depends on what your content is hitting on, but like you really gotta like invest into your customer acquisition. You gotta pay for customers. Like you really gotta pay for customers today. Like if you are not doing that, your competitors are. They really are.
So paid ads and consistency, not giving
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Even though it's cliche, but it's something like you said, you didn't start over. You didn't start over. You just kept going.
Yeah. You really have to tell yourself like, I got to give this 7 years. Got to give this, a certain amount of time, because a lot of people, oh, I'm gonna give it this amount of time and then they stop, or I'm gonna do it for a year and stop. I'm like, that's not enough time. That's nowhere near enough time.
Well, I think that's something that's very valuable that you're
Yeah.
saying. And then I guess one of the last things that I want to ask is when we think about mental health,
Yeah.
because I always try to bring it back to that in our community as we're trying to heal
Yeah.
and come together and create ecosystems. What do you think Urban Eden's play would be able to be to fit into an ecosystem as we're trying to continue to build as a Black community? Do you feel like there are ways that we can come together in a way that allows us to build, but not make it where we're being toxic towards one another?
That's a good question. I mean, I know with Urban Eden, like we're really big on self-care, which is very helpful for the mental health. Just taking that shower, like taking care of yourself, like getting up in the morning, just getting dressed. Like if what's our guy Deion Sanders? He always talks about if you look good, you play good. Like you get yourself up in the morning, take care of yourself, make sure you look good. I mean, that's a really big part of mental health, because if you don't feel good, like that's from like your body and like the way you're dressing and whatnot, like that's going to be tough. You asked about like as far as our community and just the mental health in our community, and I think you asked about like how do we come together
Yeah.
on that. Honestly, like this conversations, we got to just have conversations. I think what's big is that a lot of there's not much content that you can really go to and you just hear people just speaking just like super real stuff, like just giving it to you just super raw. Like, I mean, you could probably even ask me like, what are some things that I went through mentally through through our investment? Like, my goodness, man.
What did you go through?
Just not understanding the value that we already had. Like if I could go back, like I wish I understood what we were truly, I wish I placed a value on what we had. I didn't know what we had. I wanted to know what they saw. I wanted to know like, what do y'all see? Cause it's almost like, it's like, how like, what they call it? Body dysmorphia or whatever. Like when you look in the mirror,
Yeah.
be very fit, but you see like this overweight person. For me in our business, as we were growing it, I didn't know what we had. But then these gentlemen come and they're like, oh, we want to invest. I'm like, well, what do y'all see? What do y'all see this value as? And then when they show it to me, I'm just like, huh. But as I've learned now, I'm like, dang, man, I really wish that I placed the value on the business myself and understood what I truly had. And I'm not regretting it. It's just hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Now that I can look back, I'm like, So if I can give anybody advice, understand what you have. Place a value on that. Get some other eyeballs to look at it before you even go into a situation like that. Because private equity and all that world is a whole different monster.
Whole other beast.
Oh, yeah.
And you said something really prophetic there, which is like knowing your worth. That's essentially, even in your business,
Yeah.
knowing your worth. Because if you're creating something,
Yes.
you have to know your worth. You have to know your value and what you're bringing to the table. Because then that's also looking for validation from someone else to tell you what your worth is.
Right.
You go in there and you're like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm doing. They then come to you and ask, like, well, what do you need? What do you want? So, but again, it's kind of like when you're walking into the unknown and you don't know,
Yep.
you're not sure. You have to walk by faith, not by sight, right? You walking into those spaces, it's hard because the only feet you see is your own, You're like, where am I going? But, to your point, I think that's a huge learning lesson that a lot of people can see and think about, especially in our community too. Like our worth really truly means something.
Absolutely.
You have to know that, like not be second guessing it, We have to know that.
Yeah, you truly do. I mean, like I said, I really wish that I understood like value, stuff like that before. You know, it's almost like a swimmer. When you're like you're swimming and you're never looking up. You're just going. That's how we were through all these years. We just were going and we never like looked up to just take a look at the landscape and just understand like what was going on.
Right. You were building all these little things all on the way. Sometimes with entrepreneurs too, it's like, I got to get to the next thing. I got to get to the next thing. I got to get to the next thing. And then it's like, you didn't even look back and see everything you built
Yeah.
in that whole time. Sometimes I think it is important to reset or rest or hibernate, like, and look back and say, okay, this is what I've established.
Right.
But, you know, the point that I've gotten to where I can continue growing and taking inventory on that.
Exactly.
That's dope. Okay, so I'm gonna do a rapid fire question.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and do 2 here. So I always try to say, like, if you are in a place mentally and you gotta play a song, right? A hype song, something that's gonna get you out, like just get you ready to go.
Yeah.
What's your go-to song?
What would be my go-to song?
Or artist, like, you know, you're about to get something fire from them.
Like, I like that song. I like that Rocco song. This Morning. It's called This Morning.
This morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that one. And then when you said something about hype me up, I thought about the guy that's on Instagram with his dance to hype me up. I thought about that one. That one gets me hyped as
That
well.
one does.
Yeah.
I play a couple times on my stories.
Every time I see him doing a dance, I be trying to do it too.
I love it. And then last rapid fire question. What book, if you have a go-to book or something to like feed your brain knowledge, something that was life-changing for you, or podcast or something that you listen to, what is that you could give to other people to tell them to listen to or read?
That's a good one. I was reading a couple books. I have 2. One book that I really like was Blue Ocean Strategy. That one's a really good one, just kind of showing you how to basically, you know, stand out and not want to be like, put yourself in like these red oceans. Red oceans was like a lot of competition. Blue Ocean is kind of like an area of like, almost like on your own, but like you're carving like your own lane type of thing. So Blue Ocean Strategy was cool. And a book that I just read was called Family Office Playbook. That one was real interesting to me. It was kind of different. I never really read anything too much like that, but I was gifted. I met a guy on Twitter and I was just talking with him. A lot of his posts were very like provoking, not provoking in a bad way, but like, hey, reached out to him. We had conversations, we met, and he sent me his book, Family Office Playbook. I thought that was very interesting. It kind of shows you how to operate like a family office.
Really?
So I honestly, I aspire to have a family office one day. And that was the playbook on how to have a family office without having like the millions of dollars that it takes to have one.
Really?
So I like that book.
Was there anything out of that you were like, oh, that's a gem drop right there?
So he talked a lot about like what to do with, I'm in a stage now where liquidity and it's something that I'm looking for, like not necessarily like exiting or selling my business, but like he talked about like once you have that money, like what to do with it and how to structure yourself, you know, taxes and all that type of stuff. So I thought that was very interesting, just kind of like how to operate like that and stuff. So
okay, knowledge is power. So that's why I was like, we want to make sure we're getting the gem drops. So make sure you gotta get that book, those 2 books. All right, Quinton, so let's talk a little bit more about these soaps that you brought in today. I want to know a little bit more about the different fragrances that we have, a little bit more about the different types of styles, plants maybe that are in them. So let's talk a little bit more. What do we have here? We have oatmeal honey, tea tree, turmeric, rosemary and lavender, and lemongrass and patchouli.
yes.
Okay, so talk to me. You said earlier, what, lemongrass, patchouli. You said this was like one of your favorite ones?
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite ones. Yep, that's one of my favorite ones. That's a, you know, all of our bars are made with coconut oil, palm oil, shea butter. We bake it from scratch here in Georgia, cold process way.
Okay.
Cold process is just it's a type of process to make soap.
Okay.
Oh, and you've made soap, you said before, so you know the process.
I had a soap business for like 5 minutes.
Okay, so we do the cold process. We make it in our bucket and we pour it in the molds, cut it the next day, let it cure. That one has lemongrass essential oil, patchouli essential oil, and then it has poppy seeds. We only use essential oils to scent our products, and then we have products that are unscented, like the oatmeal honey that's unscented. The tea tree and turmeric, the one in the front, that's our number one seller by like a super long shot. People love to like use that on the face. But you can use all our bars, full body, but that's my go-to if I have like any type of breakout or mosquitoes, which just really tear me up, then that's one that I really will go to.
The tea tree?
The tea tree and turmeric, yeah. Tea tree is powerful, man. And like hyperpigmentation is big in our community.
Yes.
So that one is like that's the one for that.
Okay.
So that's like our customer base, they deal with hyperpigmentation. That's what they've stated to us. So that's why that one is like a super number one seller for that. And if you want me to open it for you? I know that was hard.
The nails, right? Man, I be trying to be cute, and it's like, you can't be doing certain things, man. I'm like,
yeah.
What do you want to do, Brett?
But yeah, that one right there, that's like, we have original bars that we made from the beginning, and that one's been from the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, we've never changed the recipe or anything. Our recipes have been the same since day one.
Yeah, and so you said that you do like a lot of stuff that's plant-based. So how did you like do extraction? Like, do you put plants directly in it? Like, how does that work? I mean, I'm trying to get all your secrets and stuff.
Oh, no, you good. I mean, we use herbal additives, like that one's turmeric powder. And I think the whole herbal standpoint is mainly like our commitment to essential oils. We're not using any fragrance oils. The additives that we will use are all going to be like herbal. Like, for example, the rosemary and lavender, like I'll pull it out. Like, you'll see, like we have herbs in here. Like, you see all the herbs that are in it and stuff like that. Like, there's some herbal aspects there.
That smells good.
Yeah, that one's really nice. Rosemary, lavender. We use herbs on the tops of our soaps, on some of them, things like that. So yeah, I mean, the name Urban Eden, like when we first created the business in Urban Eden, like we liked the name Urban Eden because what's funny is that our intern at a place called Urban Sprout Farms, and then we created Urban Eden.
Oh, okay, I get it.
And theirs was spelled URBAN, but then we changed ours to the HERBAN.
Right.
So,
oh.
But the whole thing about Urban Eden is just that when we first started it, it was about everybody knows that herbs are good for you. How can we incorporate that into your lifestyle on a daily? And we was like, well, everybody takes a shower every day. Put it in a soap, and that's a way that you'll be able to get your herbal intake every single day through your shower. So that was kind of like the basis on why we started what we started.
Wow. And when you made this, so this is very personal. Like, you guys crafted this, out of something that you were already doing.
Mm-hmm.
What made you not feel like I'm putting too much of myself out there, or like too much of myself in my business? Like, do you feel like you had to have certain stoppers to like prevent yourself from like giving people too much of you, when you're pouring into your business? Or, I'm just trying to kind of get an idea of, like, because it sounds everything's custom. Everything has like a meaning and a purpose.
I mean, the like me and my wife, like we are like the brand, like behind, like especially her, like she's like the face of the brand. Like you'll see her, for the forefront. And we've battled with that, especially after we got investors. Like, are we too much in the front? Like, are the sales too tied to our faces or whatnot? Because I don't want that to happen. I don't want the business to be so dependent upon us as people. Right. I want people to just fall in love with the product. So there was like a balance there that we had to kind of like. If you could actually look at our YouTube and kind of see the journey. Like, we were doing a lot of vlogging, a lot of personal things, documenting our journey, did that through years. And then you'll see how we kind of stopped a bit. We kind of brought it back a little bit, but not as much. But there was a little period in the middle of that, probably like from 21 or 22 until like maybe 23 or 24, where we kind of like, all right, we kind of need to like step back a bit, because I feel like I don't want us to just be like the main drivers of that. But then I'm like, well, that's what makes us different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People, the first thing people ask, is this Black owned? And people want to know. And people fall in love with brands that they feel like they have a connection with.
That part.
And that's what makes us stick out. Then, you just buy like maybe something from, I don't know, a store, and you don't really know who's behind it. So that's why our customer base is very, we have a lot of repeat customers, people that have been buying from us for years, because they're connected to us. Like, they remember when we were doing this in cigar bands and we didn't have the boxes and things like that.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of this. I'm really, really grateful for having you and even telling us about your journey and everything. Like, it's real, it's raw, and I can see it, how much love you've poured into your products. You've done such an amazing job. I'm so proud of you and your wife.
Thank you so
Keep doing
much.
it. And, I know you guys are going to continue to soar new heights. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.